Yo, what's up, everybody? Hey, what's up, me? What's up, me? It's just me. This is really, it's gonna be a quiet episode because it's just me. It's half the voices. Although you guys all get a voice, so that's we amplify your voices when there's only one of me. I feel like I just did one of these very recently. Just did a solo GAMESCAST very recently. So here we are. We're doing it again. So let's not mess around. Let's get the show on the road. Hey, what's going on? This is PSVR GAMESCAST Live. We film live every single MonJay, Wednesday, and US Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. We also care about your oral pleasure. That's why we put this thing up on podcast services of your choice. This is it. This is the whole show, you guys. Hopefully everyone's having a nice day. Hopefully everyone's having a nice week. It's only Monday, which means my lack of co-host means my Monday could be going better. Just horrible preparation on my part, but so be it. It's all good. What are you going to do? AJ just needed a day off, and the rest of the boys were busy, and I didn't even bother reaching out to, really to anybody. I asked Games with T if he was around basically an hour ago, and he was not. I was actually going to ask Jamie, but I feel like, according to our resident tinfoil hat expert, also known as Wrapup, a state of play is on the way. And so we're gonna have to recruit Jamie for a state of play, and hopefully he'll be around for that. Because he tends to be my guy for the live streams or for the events, right? So. I don't know. Like, does the state of play sound reasonable to you guys? I mean, I feel like it's been just long enough since the last one, where it's probably time for another one. And as we get into the fall season, it really seems appropriate, right? Because think of all of the PSVR2 games that have that we know are supposedly coming this year, and then don't have release dates, right? So it's definitely time for some release dates. It might be time for some new game announcements. 2026 is right around the corner. We know about, I think, 2, maybe 3 PSVR2 games total that have like these nebulous 2026 release windows. But considering we are 3 months from the end of the year, it's time. It's time to start getting a lot more 2026 release dates. So I do think that it's time for a state of play, and obviously if I'm going to be super optimistic, I say this is the time, right? If there's going to be a time for Resident Evil 9 Requiem to be announced for PSVR 2, this would be a perfect time. Now I know that's, I don't know. I mean, I think that it's asking a lot, right? It's asking a whole lot. Because I mean, listen, anytime we get an announcement of a big AAA game for PSVR 2, it is a monumental event. It is a momentous event, maybe. And I just think, I think personally that if we get a Resident Evil 9 announcement, like we're just gonna ride that wave into. I mean, into Q2 2026, right? I don't need more than one AAA game every 6 months or so just to, just something to be excited about, like something massive to be excited about on the horizon. That's all I need. It's just like one game to be announced here and there, right? Just so you know, there's always something else to look forward to. And that's not to say there's not a ton of, non-AAA games to look forward to. Supposedly before the end of the year. I mean, look what we're looking at, right? I honestly think some of the games coming out between now and the end of the year could honestly be, some of the best games we've seen in VR for a while. I mean, Thief VR, I feel like nobody's talking about Thief VR. right? And I feel like there's decent reasons for that. Right? Because we haven't seen all that much of it. It looks like it's a VRAF game, which is cool, right? I mean, if you're going to build a game from the ground up for VR, here, let me bring up a trailer because I do want to kind of refresh my memory a little bit. We haven't seen any footage of this game since this reveal during a state of play, right? This was a state of play. And we learned a couple things about this. We learned that it was VRAF, right? It was showing like people being able to pick items up, and I think for a stealth game where you're trying to sneak around, I think it's really important to be able to pick anything up that you possibly can, throw it to create some noise, create a distraction, right? Imagine trying to do that in Village, right? Like there's all this stuff on a table or on a bookshelf, and you just can't fucking pick it up. So I think it's actually kind of important when you build a Thief game from the ground up for VR that it is as VRAF as possible for that exact reason. And so I'm excited about that for that reason. But it's also maze theory. It's like, not that maze theory sucks or anything, right? Like, they did a really decent Doctor Who game. I actually enjoyed that. And then they did, whatever that stationary puzzle game was, the no to no teleportation, the Infinite Inside. And so it's just like, oof, lots of ups and downs with them. But even the highest ups don't make me crazy confident that they have the chops to do a Thief VR game. But anyway, that's still coming this year. The point isn't like, oh, is it going to be good or is it going to be bad? I think it's going to be huge for VR, period. And it's still coming this year at some point. Luber says they also did Peaky Blinders, which I thought was pretty miserable. I bet if you were a fan of the show, Peaky Blinders was a lot more fun. There's stuff there, right? I mean, it didn't look great, it didn't play great, but there was stuff to do. Could have been worse, I guess, but it also could have been way better. Anyway, but Thief is just one of the many games coming this year that we don't have a release window for or release date for. At this point, if you're saying 2025, we have a release window. It is fall. It's sometime in the next 3 months. And honestly, like the rest of September, October, November. Okay, so maybe, 3 months, right? Because that brings us into December 15th or so. And I don't think most games are not going to release after December 15th. You want to get your games out plenty of lead time before the holidays. So there's that. Awesome Tatum in the chat saying Zero Caliber, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Virtual Resistance says no DFR equals no buy from me. I mean, you gotta make decisions for yourself. That's fine. I would prefer games to have every game to use DFR and like really super sample that focal point resolution wise. I prefer if every game ran at 90 frames native, so we didn't have to worry about reprojection. I have lots of preferences, but I can't imagine not playing all the games that don't have those things because of my preferences. I've enjoyed so many games on PSVR2 that, if I was living by, if I was making those concessions or not willing to make concessions, I would have skipped out on so many fantastic games, so many great games. And then we were just talking in Discord a little bit earlier. Another one that I think is coming this year is Of Lies and Rain, right? The Half-Life Alyx-like. Can we call it that? Can we just call it an Alyx-like? And maybe even call it an Alyx clone. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's too much like Half-Life Alyx. They've gone beyond inspiration and just started ripping them off. And I'm like, that's fine. Fucking Valve doesn't want to bring Alyx over here, then just rip him off, man. That's fine. Just rip him off more. Steal the storyline while you're at it. So, I mean, listen, I played the Of Lies and Rain demo. I think most of you probably did too. And Jesus, this game is good. It's good. It looks good. These guys know what 90 frames per second looks like. These guys know how to, it's clear that they talked to Vitruvius, right? Because they just made a great looking game and they made it run great on PSVR 2. And yeah, the interactions and everything feel great. It's the vibe too, right? Passes all the vibe checks. it's this dystopian, post-apocalyptic, futuristic sci-fi world. It's great. Mark is asking about Ace of Thunder. Ace of Thunder is still coming out this year. I mean, geez, dude, like, wow, like this, like the next 3 months could be some of the best we see. There it is. Here's your trailer, Mark. the single player campaign trailer. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And again, 90 frames per second. You know, like just we know this is going to be super silky smooth and it's going to feel great. And I hope everyone bought their HOTAS, and I got mine over there sitting in a box. A box. I hope that's the HOTAS. I still haven't opened my Amazon box. If it's not a HOTAS, I don't know what it is. If it's not a HOTAS, I got to talk to Amazon because they lost my HOTAS. So yeah. And then I think if I remember correctly, right, I don't want to like put words in the developer's mouth, but to my knowledge, did Fireproof say Ghost Town is coming this year? Right? And like, I mean, and you go talk to people who played this on Quest and on Steam, and they're talking about this as if it's Game of the Year material. I played the first, I don't know, hour on Quest. And I was like, this is a great beginning, right? And if they can nail the visuals on PSVR2, if they can make it run in 90 native, they can make it look super clean, and just, I mean, this could be a really, really fun time. Great pedigree too. These guys made the Room VR. Whoa, I don't know if you heard that. Somebody just died. Do you ever hear like the brakes? Like you hear somebody driving, and you hear like you hear the screech, and you're just like, sometimes it's so long that you're just like waiting for the crash at the end of it. The screech was so long that if there was a crash at the end of it, I think it was super minor, so that might have been okay. Oh, SP says they did say this year. That's good. Yeah. So I mean, listen. Like what a time for single player adventures. Like this is my bread and butter. Don't get me wrong. I loved Into Black. That was such a great time to play. I think it was way more fun with friends. And obviously Phasmophobia, way more fun with friends. There are games that have definitely pulled me in and been like, oh, we need to play this multiplayer. But man, there is something special about a game that's just built for single player. This is what it is. Nope, we're not going to patch in multiplayer later. This is just the game. And and the list goes on and on and on. So we really do have so much to look forward to. That part of me is a little bit concerned. We have so much to look forward to that I'm wondering if Sony thinks it's necessary. Kind of circle this back around to the point of this conversation. I'm wondering if Sony thinks it's necessary to announce Requiem right now, right? If I was Sony, I'd always be sort of teasing I'd always be sort of teasing. Oh, I didn't know this was not going to work. Here we go. I'm gonna have to keep moving the tip window around in order for it to show up on the screen. It's just, like, I would always like a AAA game, like sort of just on the horizon, something that we're looking forward to. But there's a lot of stuff coming up. Like there's that, there could easily be a state of play early next year. There's the Capcom event next year, and so there's a lot of places this could happen. But at least is the first place I would expect to see Requiem. I know some people have gotten disappointed and saying, "Hey, we haven't seen it yet. I'm getting a little nervous," and that's fair, right? Because we just never know. We just never know what to expect with PSVR2. But as far as I'm concerned, this is the first time, other than like the reveal trailer of the game itself, this is the first time where I'm like, we might see something. And also, dude, October's like just 2 weeks away, right? So we got Slender VR on the way. It's great for horror, and then Secret of the Mimic, which is, even if you're not a FNAF fan, even if you don't like Five Nights at Freddy's, I do feel like this is gonna be a big deal, right? I feel like this might be a Five Nights at Freddy's game for people who don't like Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Because the mini game thing was just a little bit too much for some people. So yeah, SP says they haven't announced the PS4 version yet either of Requiem, I'm guessing, right? So yeah, at the Nintendo Direct, they just announced Requiem is coming to Switch too, and it doesn't look like it's like the cloud-based one either. Which is pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool to have that native on Switch too. Definitely, I'm such a Switch 2 fanboy. I know a lot of people are, not a fan. I think the console's overpriced and the games are overpriced, and there's an argument for both of those things for sure. Nintendo went from being like the cheap, the cheap console that was in everybody's house last gen, to being more of a premium product this gen, and which means I'm just not buying Switch games very often. I'm being very, very picky about the ones I choose, and because of that, I played the Donkey Kong Bonanza demo yesterday, day before. I was just like, man, like this is fun, I think, but not enough to justify $70. Like, I think the most I would pay for Bonanza is like 30 or 40, and I think anybody who's actually played the game, to completion, relates it more to like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 game. So the demo just didn't sell me. Virtual Resist says Nintendo is hot trash after the Super Nintendo. Listen, I was not an N64 fan. There were some good games on that platform, even though I didn't like the platform. But the GameCube was great. And honestly, like, I think if you get over like the motion controls on Wii, right, the fact that it was so motion control centric, there were some amazing titles on that as well. I know that our friend Jay Meow goes to bat for Skyward Sword being possibly the best Legend of Zelda game ever made, especially once they ditched the motion controls and released the HD version. Did you just meow at me? Just meow at me? Huh? Just meow at me? Okay. We're gonna get some tornado cameos in here. Ian Sandbridge has the Wii U was the greatest. I like the Wii U. I had a good time with the Wii U. I'm so happy that almost every awesome Wii U game eventually came to Switch, because a lot of those games deserved more love than they got. Let's check in with the chat. We got Kill Artist 1, the Dreamweaver Game Cat with a $5 tip. What's up, Kill Artist? Says, I just ordered something else you still got in a box. Oh, I just ordered something else you still got in a box. Haha, a B-Haptics suit. I got the Pro version coming. Man. Yep. I just got a box in the mail today, which was, I know it's a running joke. I know that maybe you guys never expect to see it, right? But but I just got another accessory for PSVR2 in the mail from a creator of an accessory, and I talked to this guy and was like, hey, I'll include your accessory in my video. It's happening eventually. What happened? So, what's funny is that I was like, oh man, after surviving Mars, I've got so much time. Like, look at all the time I've got. And every single time I say, look at all the time I've got, right? I don't have another game, that I'm working on for review right now. That's crazy. There's almost always a game on my PS5 hard drive that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this for review. And so I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do with this newfound time? And then I woke up yesterday and was like, oh my god, there's only 2 more weeks until October. And as you guys know, like, I love to prep the channel for October. I like to have videos ready to go. I like to celebrate October as long as I possibly can and as the best as I can, which means that I want to have Brian Bites ready and reviews ready for horror games that I haven't reviewed yet. Get caught up on some of this stuff. I never reviewed FNAF Help Wanted on PSVR2. Never did the updated PSVR2 version. I've never reviewed Help Wanted 2. And then of course we have new games coming. We got Very Bad Dreams that I haven't reviewed the PSVR2 version of. Get Out. So some of these would be good Brian Bites. Some of these would be good reviews. And on top of that, like, I just want to, I have some cool special videos on the channel for October. And so 2 weeks, that's not a lot of time to prep for like 30 days or 31 days of content. So, I think this year, the most important thing for me, other than getting a few videos taken care of and set up beforehand, is to make sure that I'm ready to stream, right? Ready to do some Let's Plays. Because they're horror games, man. The horror games, I think the best way to experience horror games, with me at least, is by watching me play them live. Because I'm a fucking baby, man, and I scream a lot. And so, feeling that tension and being there along for the ride, and then when there's games like Madison, that, like, even though I know what's coming, it's still terrifying to me, right? Because, like, it's just, I just know that it's just going to be so scary when it happens. And my brain is bad enough where I do forget a significant amount of stuff. But man, I'll tell you this: I would love to have the PS4 hooked up and the PSVR1 hooked up, and be able to stream from that too. Because, and there are just some horror games on PSVR1 that I haven't gone back to. We're still talking about GameCube in the chat. I love it. Yeah, the Wii did support GameCube games at first, right? They eventually released a model where they didn't have the 4 GameCube ports on the side of it, and you couldn't play GameCube games on it anymore. But man, backwards compatibility is always a good way to usher in a new generation. I don't even know what we're talking about. All right, B-Haptics. Congrats, Kill Artist. That's awesome. Game Cato with the Australian $5 tip. Says Struthcobber with Requiem and Indiana Jones coming to Switch 2. Then maybe they'll get PSVR2 port announcements? One can dream. Yeah, one can dream. It is, for us, it's a no-brainer. For us, it's like, oh, of course, why wouldn't you? For multi-million or billion-dollar corporations that, are like, well, how many copies are we really gonna sell? Right? I think that's all that matters to most corporations. And the question is how many games are you really gonna sell? Right? There's Moonhood tweeted about how many copies of the Midnight Walk they sold. And it was only, I say only, but it was 100,000 copies. And it's been out for what? Are we coming up to 4 months now? Something like that? Because I know it came out right around the time of the GameCat Meetup 2025. Yeah. So, and I think especially with the Midnight Walk, what's crazy about that is that it wasn't just a VR game, right? Like there were a lot of people who were like, this looks great. This looks like Nightmare Before Christmas. And oh, I can play it on the flat screen. I just expected this to sell like crazy. So 100,000 is, a good number of copies, I guess. Right. But just like we were talking with Cave Crave about how they sold 30,000 copies and, or 15,000, whatever it was. And it was like, well, is that a good number? Right. It's all based on development costs. And I can only imagine development costs for the Midnight Walk were fairly high because the animation was so great and all the claymation and sculpting and blah, blah, blah. Right. And so I'm wondering if they consider 100,000 copies a success. So it's a little I don't know. It's the state of the world, I guess. It's the state of gaming. There's really just too many choices. Back we talk about the old days, like the 8-bit, 16-bit days, where there were still a lot of choices. Don't get me wrong, but it was different. It was different. There was always like the marquee title that everyone had to have, and or at least a couple of them. Now it's just like, man, especially when you look at the indie game market, there's just tons of like really highly regarded games, and for these games to get visibility, even a game that looks like this, it must be really, really hard to hit your target audience. Although I am curious to see how the sale does, because it's on sale right now, and so interested to see how many people were just waiting to save a few bucks. Colin Left says, "What did Cave Crave sell on PS5?" I don't know. I don't have the individual sale numbers. My guess is that it's going to be probably sold best on PSVR2. And we get a good version of it too. Cave Crave, for all of its faults, and being in technically still early access, it's good, man. Like no other game has ever made me feel that claustrophobic. I think it's easy to. Here's some Cave Crave footage. I don't know. I think it's easy to discount Cave Crave and say, oh man, we've got caves in all sorts of games. This is a game with just caves. There's no combat, no nothing. But I've never felt no game has ever made me feel this claustrophobic before. You have to pull the triggers to take a deep breath, right? Suck it all in, and then use the grips to climb like through these really really tight areas in Cave Crave, and you feel it, man. You feel like the walls are caving in around you, pun intended, I guess. So I think they're doing something special with Cave Crave. Obviously, it won't be for everyone. It's a much smaller title, but I think it's really cool that they're doing the Nutty Putty thing, where there's a cave system that people have died in, and it's just inaccessible to the real world. And so, like, wow, this is what VR is so great for, to be able to, here where you get to visit a real life location that you're not even allowed to access in real life anymore, right? Yeah, sadly, the Midnight Walk could perform better in VR. Minor frame rate hitches on the PS5 Pro, to the point where I've seen plenty of people say I didn't even notice any frame rate hitches, which is great. But on the OG PS5, once they bumped the resolution up, we all complain. It's like, oh, you have these beautiful character models and environments all sculpted out of clay, and it all just kind of looks blurry, right? The visuals are the most important part. Honestly, the visuals are the most important part of that game, right? Like, and I know it's a complete package, right? The storytelling is important, and the audio is important. But man, when you are making a Tim Burton-esque world out of clay, and you want your player to experience that, making sure they can experience that without seeing frame rate hitches and smears of low resolution is so important. And so I think the visuals were one of the most important things, and they dropped the ball a little bit, right? I mean, even the visuals on the Pro or the resolution period on either platform could be sharper. And so I see people in the chat talking about DFR, and they absolutely should have used DFR. One of those things that maybe it was a little too late in development for them to add, but we paid the price for their decision. It could have been just unbelievably stunning, right? It could have been sharper. It could have ran smoother. Again, for people who see reprojection as much as I do, it's distracting. So, yeah, I still think you should play the Midnight Walk. I really, it's just one of those games that it doesn't come around very often. It's beautiful despite its issues, and man, the soundtrack is beautiful, and the characters are awesome. Like, I gave it a good review despite some issues. So I think you should play it. But the whole time it will be in the back of your head, man, it's kind of a bummer. This could have been better, or this should have been better, right? Respect your game. I remember when I was I don't know if everybody knows this about me, but the thing I was doing other than YouTube 10 years ago was I was playing guitar with my friend Melissa, who's a cellist. She's a cello player. So we were playing around town, original songs. It was just a duet, acoustic guitar, me singing, her playing cello. And I've been a songwriter all my life. I've been a guitar player all my life. It's been the other passion I have, like it's video games and music. And I remember when I first started playing out, like at coffee houses and stuff, like college or pre-college. There was this musician who I really, really respected, amazing songwriter, and he watched me play and gave me some notes, and some of the songs I was playing were new, right? And so I was very excited to be playing in front of like this person I respected so much, and so I'd forget words here and there. So not only were the songs so new that I just hadn't learned my own songs yet, but on top of that, I was nervous. So I was playing in front of somebody I really, really respected and admired. And so I would forget a couple of the words here and there, and it was just like, oh, fuck. And one of his notes, I always remember this, was he goes, know your songs. He goes, you need to respect your own songs. And I've always kind of thought about that when it comes to like respecting your own work. is how I feel about developers who put out a game and the frame rate or resolution just isn't up to snuff. You spent all this time, you spent years putting this thing together and trying to make it the best you can, and you drop the ball at the end because it wasn't optimized. Like, that's not respecting your work, right? So it makes it harder for us to respect your work. And so that's just something I've always thought about. It's always been in the back of my mind. It's so funny that these words that somebody told me about my music it has translated into, into gaming and how I feel about games that I play now. I'm tired of the lazy developer comment. I don't think any developer's lazy, but at the same time, it's like, bro, get your shit ready for prime time. Like, you only have one chance to make a first impression. Like, that's an old expression for a reason. Eclipse DJ says, and that guy was. His name was James O'Brien. Just when I say killer singer, songwriter, killer. I haven't listened to him in a long time, but I listened to him a lot when I was like a sophomore in college. I think his shit's on Spotify. So if anybody's interested to hear, this person I was around a lot back in the day, check out his album's called Life Underwater, or the one that I was like super into. James O'Brien, Life Underwater. Amazing collection of songs. Very Dylan-esque to a certain degree, but I think much more accessible than that. He's still doing stuff to this day. I looked him up recently, and I haven't really had a chance to get into his new stuff, but the stuff that I've looked at sounds pretty good. Izzard says, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. Fifth with the Australian $2 tip says, the Pool's flat demo looked nice. Good. That's really good to hear. I am not, somebody's backing up outside. Dump trucks on my end? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not playing the Pool's demo. If you guys don't know, the Pool's demo is available now on the PlayStation Store for the flat screen. There we go. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed that like I've got this game on media blackout. I watched enough of the Game Grumps playing it that I don't want to spoil anything else that I've already seen. I've seen the first couple of levels already, and I just think it's just creepy and weird enough that, man, if they nail the visuals for this is another one. The whole game is about the experience of being there, and yeah, hopefully they don't screw it up. Why is my Widow's Peak so pronounced today? Is it always like that? And I just don't look at myself very. So here, normally when I'm doing a show, I have somebody else to look at, right? But like every time I look up at the screen, it's me, and I was like, oh no, I'm the only one talking. And so am I just looking at myself for the first time? My Widow's Peak is not that pronounced usually. I don't know. Anyway, but Pools is another one. Pools is another one that should be coming out this year on PSVR2, and just another fun game to be excited about. Hopefully, something GameCat adjacent with the level 2 membership says, "Thank you, Ace GamerCat, for the Without Parole membership." That's awesome. Thank you, Ace GamerCat, for the Without Parole membership. He's got a level 2 membership. So are you buying level 2 memberships for people, or did I miss something? Like, if you're already a member and then somebody gifts you a membership, do you just become a level 2 member? I feel like you guys should be asking me this question and I should have the answers. Clearly not how this is going. Yes, reverse beeps on my end. That's it. Alex Blanco says, damn, 15 minutes in, I just realized Brian's flying solo. That's funny. Samson, I want to talk to Samson143VR with the $10 tip. Thanks, bud. Says, love a good solo episode. Been playing anything retro lately? Yes, a little bit. I've been loving my Evercade. My Evercade stuff has been a lot of fun. If you guys aren't familiar with Evercade, they're kind of like they put out a home console, a handheld console, and the bar top arcade that's been sitting right next to me here called the Alpha, and they all take the same cartridges, right? And so you buy collections of retro game cartridges, and then you can play them wherever you want to, on your TV, your handheld, on the bar top arcade. And they put out a Neo Geo collection just recently, which is great. You know, Metal Slug and Magician's Lord, Shock Troopers, the first one, which is great, and you know, some fighting games as well, which I generally don't care about. Fighting games, like 1v1 fighting games, you know, for my entire life, it's always been like, oh, there's one here that I got super excited about. There's another one right here that I'm super excited about. Ace Gamercat says, I just gifted 20 subs is all. Huh. Well, first of all, 20 subs is a lot of fucking gifting. So thank you so much, man. That's really, really sweet of you. Did I not get a notification here? Did it not show up? It didn't fucking show up. Usually it shows up. It's really weird. Well, thank you. Appreciate the generosity. You guys are fucking awesome. So anyway, I should be obsessed with playing those Neo Geo games on the Alpha over here. But man, they right around the same time, they released a game called Roguecraft to DX. And it's the super, super simple game as far as roguelites go. Super, super simple, kind of isometric dungeon crawler. And for whatever reason, like maybe it's the simplicity, but man, that game pulled me in. It's one of those games that, like, just before I go to bed, I just grab my, you know, handheld Evercade and I just play it. And next thing I know, I've been playing it for like 30, 40 minutes, and then I die, and then I turn it off and I go to bed. It's pick up and play, super pick up and play. I don't think that's considered retro though. I'm just playing it on a retro console or a retro focused console. But yeah, it's kind of been it lately. Still playing Breath of the Wild, if you can believe it. I don't know what happened with Breath of the Wild. I kept saying I'm ready to pack it in. I've completed enough shrines. I'm leveled up enough. I should probably just go, you know, kill Ganon, even though I haven't done the 4th Divine Beast. I don't know. I may just play Breath of the Wild till the end of time. It's always in sleep mode, so I can just pick it up and jump back in anytime that I want to. What a phenomenal game. Sorry, Wrapup. Okay. I'm going to pause there on tips because now Ryan is going to be a good transition, a good segue when it's time to talk about baseball. Somebody brought up Zero Caliber earlier. And yeah, I mean, so this was interesting. They posted this on Twitter. Let me see if I can't get this up on the screen. There we go. This is for Zero Caliber 2 on PC, and they were saying these are the milestones they have for wishlisting, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody do this before. If they hit these milestones, they're going to lower the price of the game by this amount. So if they get 75,000 wish lists, it's not going to be $30 anymore. It's going to be $15 at launch, which is, I think, really interesting because we've talked to Wes and we've talked to Miles about this kind of stuff, and wishlisting is way more important than I think we give it credit for. It gives it more visibility on the store, and so I think more wishlisting, the more times we wishlist something, the better the likelihood is that other people will hear about it somehow. I don't understand how all the stores work, but obviously wishlisting this stuff is very, very important to them. So here, let's get this image off the screen. Let's bring up this. On the last PSVR this week I did, which was not this weekend. There just wasn't a lot to talk about, and I didn't want to waste 10 hours making a video where it was like, I don't really have much to share with you guys. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. So every so often you'll see that I just do a PSVR this week, like every other week or something like that. As we get into October, it's going to be every week. As we get into November, it's going to be every week. December, the next few months are going to be jam-packed with updates and stuff. So, but on the last episode of PSVR this week that I did, I talked about Zero Caliber, and I called it accidentally Zero Caliber Reloaded, even though it's called Zero Caliber Remastered, right? Reloaded was a different version of the game on Quest. And because I was in the Reloaded mindset, the trailer that I grabbed from, you know, my folder of thousands of trailers was Zero Caliber Reloaded. And so I saw more than one comment on PSVR this week being like, this game doesn't look much better than the Quest version. And I was like, oh yeah, no, because what you're seeing is the Quest version. Like, it does look pretty bad. That's very fucking true. And man, I always feel really, really bad about that, right? Because I know, like, I'm not the marketing department or sales department of Xreal Games or anything like that. You know, like, I don't think any of these companies should depend on me for anything, right? Because I'm super fucking flighty. But you know, I don't want to misrepresent their game. Like, you know, if this was the first time somebody was going to be hearing about Zero Caliber Remastered coming to PSVR2, the last thing I want to do is be like, oh, and here's the Quest trailer. Doesn't it look great? Nope. No, it doesn't. So my apologies to Xreal. However, they did ask if we were interested, or, you know, if they should do the same wish list milestone challenge for PSVR2. And part of me, listen, I want to be as pro-consumer as possible, but as you guys know, like, you know, how many copies is it really going to sell? Like, should we really be? I don't know. You guys tell me. Like, the number of times I hear people say, "Oh, I just want to support these developers. I just want to support these developers." So, I mean, I'm super down for supporting them, and like, let's get this game wishlisted. Let's beat the Steam wish lists. Like, that would be great. Like, I think just like as a fun game for us, right? And yet another way that we can all, as PSVR2 gamers, show our commitment and our support to the studios and remind people that games do sell better on PSVR2. And yet here's yet another way that the PSVR2 community is way more passionate than the rest of the VR community. I'm so down to do this. Virtual Resistance says, yes, I'm broke. And I totally fucking get that, right? I'm broke too, man. So I get it. You know, and I'm a little bit privileged in this department where, like, I'm not going to pay for this game, whether it's $15 or $30, right? Because, you know, I'm assuming they're going to send me a review key. If they don't, then I'm going to pay for it. But I don't know. Like, I don't know. Yeah, Markio says half the launch cost, double the sales. Like, that's how important wishlisting is. Like, well, that's the other thing, is that it's not double the sales, right? I guess if we get to the halfway mark, if our pricing is similar to the Steam pricing, and don't forget, this is Zero Caliber 2 remastered. Ours is going to be Zero Caliber 1 remastered, at least for the beginning. It's not half price for double the sales. It is half price for almost 4 times the sales. So I guess that works, right? I mean, it's sort of like the whole I think this would just prevent it from going on sale like the following month or 2 months later. Like, if they launch it at $15, like, I guess we probably just shouldn't expect a sale. You know, whereas if it did launch at $30, I'm assuming we'd probably see a sale a couple months in where it was $19.99 or something like that. So I think the only thing it really disrupts is, you know, if we see a discount in the future. So, like, the discount on launch day. I don't know. I think it's an interesting strategy. Also, Silver Nexus, good point. He says the sales are not guaranteed. Wishlisting, it does not count as a sale because you still need to actually pull the trigger and buy it. So they haven't actually initiated this for PSVR2 yet. I just think we should do it anyway. We generally get about 4,000 or 5,000 views on this show. You know, after all is said and done, a couple hundred people watching live, and then you know, by Thursday or something like this, we'll probably have about 4,000 or 5,000 views on this. Be pretty cool if, like, if we got them over, you know, a certain mark, just to show them how much commitment there is from the PSVR2 community. Would be pretty cool. Shapeshifter says would have made more sense to bring Zero Caliber 2 to PSVR2 IMO. It's the better game, and they agree with that. I'm actually really happy that they're bringing the original over. I'm very much a completionist in that sense. I almost never like playing the sequel to something before I've played the original. I didn't love that about Vertigo 2, System Critical 2 to a lesser degree. I want to start at the very beginning, and I'm sure that the story here is negligible in terms of I'm not going to understand what's happening. But there's just something in my head that's hardwired to say you got to play 1 before you play 2. But the other part of this is, and the far more important part of it is that we are almost guaranteed to be getting Zero Caliber 2 remastered on PSVR 2, and it could be very soon. Right? It could be very soon. They've basically been saying, oh yeah, very likely that we'll be bringing it over, but I think it's more than likely, you guys. It's probably going to happen really soon. So buy the game, support the game, wishlist the game. These guys have been talking about bringing Zero Caliber over to PSVR for 5 years. I look back on the channel, and we were talking about Zero Caliber 5 years ago. The developer talking about bringing it over. This is a promise a long time in the making. Now, if only we could get Sad Square Studios to finally deliver on Visage, because that would be fucking awesome. I don't think Sad Square exists anymore. I don't think we're ever getting Visage. I don't know. Anyway, now let's ride the game feeling with the $5 tip. Good segue. What's this? A VR baseball game? Finally? What's this? A VR baseball game? That was a horrible, horrible snake impression. I don't think I should be allowed to do this show after that. Here, let's just see. Let's just read the article. It's here somewhere, you guys. I promise. It's so much easier to do this one, like AJ's talking or something. If I ever make a joke about AJ talking too much, it's a joke, because I need him to talk so that I can be fucking doing this shit behind the scenes. Oh, good. It's not translated. That's wonderful. Here, I'll translate it for you, because I can't read this. But Google translated for me over here. The headline reads, Baseball Dreams VR, a PlayStation VR2 game that recreates baseball pitching and hitting, is scheduled for release in fall 2025. Baseball Dreams VR, a software exclusive. Okay, so it's not perfect translation. A software exclusive to PSVR2 will be available for download in the fall of 2025. Another game coming out this year. In all fairness, I don't think we've gotten any kind of confirmation of a North American release. So this very well might be something that you either have to create a Japanese account or just patiently wait for it to come to the States for. So I'm probably not 2025 in North America, but who knows? Anything's possible. It's a simulator that lets you experience baseball from a first-person perspective, and depending on the setting, you can enjoy everything from a full-scale game to casual play. The PSVR2 Sense controller precisely detects the position and the movement of your hands, recreating pitching and batting with a realistic feel. The AI handles CPU operation, achieving human-like movements. The ball reproduces the Magnus effect, faithfully reproducing the trajectory of fastballs and curveballs. The ball is processed 9,000 times per second, ensuring smooth batting movements. The video is rendered at 90 frames per second, so it's 90 native, and gameplay is primarily static, helping to reduce VR sickness. There are 4 game modes: Challenge, where you play against 5 teams; Mini Challenge with world rankings; Exhibition, where you can enjoy a game freely; and Practice for... You ready for this? Practice. Powerful assist functions allow you to adjust the ball size and strike detection, and there are a variety of option settings to support left-handed players. You're welcome, Nick. Making for a comfortable gameplay experience. Great. That told us very little. We also don't really have screenshots, which is not great. We have this tiny thing right fucking here in the middle. This is horrible, right? This is like a very, very like robot player. We really just, yeah. What I will say about this is that when you look at the name of the game, Baseball Dreams VR, immediately after seeing that logo, I was like, we've seen these guys before. We've played these guys. We've played a game from them before. This is Bimbusoft, right? This is almost the identical logo they used for Dream Match Tennis VR, which I believe was a flat screen PS4 game. And then they gave it VR support. And then, like, I don't know, it was like a year later or something. They had like navigational control support and multiplayer. And it was just like this sort of kind of fun throwaway tennis game that got oddly amazing support post launch, and it was fun multiplayer. Very, very budget though. I think it was like 12, 13, 14 bucks, something like that. I have so many questions about this though. I'm concerned that it's literally just batting and pitching. Like I hope they don't just say, okay, you pitch the ball and now you're done. Like all the fielding is going to be automatic, or you hit the ball and now you're just going to watch your character run to the base. It's going to switch to third person. I feel like that's what's going to happen. And what really bums me out about all this is that we have Sony San Diego the whole time that PSVR and PSVR2 has been a thing. We had Sony San Diego making the fucking show, right? MLB The Show, the best baseball game probably of all time. Oh, Bases Loaded was pretty good. I remember that Jellicoe game, NES. Hardball was pretty good too. Accolade made some good baseball games. I'm not a baseball fan, but I've played a lot of baseball games throughout the years. I like baseball video games way, way, way more than like going to see a game or watching a game on TV. It's so slow. It's so slow. Triple Play 98, I think. I hope I got the year right. Triple Play 98 on PlayStation 1. My dad and I played that so much together. Like one of those things where I'd be like doing my homework and he'd just be like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, what you doing? I'm like, homework. He's like, I'll play baseball. It's like, yeah. That was our version of, father and son playing catch, I guess. We've always been gamers. That's about as close as we got to it. So it just sucks that, the Sony San Diego is, if all you're going to do is make it pitching and batting, right? We should have had that already. That would have worked fine on PSVR1, right? We're talking about move controllers that are like sensitive enough where, you could track a solid pitching motion, track a solid batting motion, right? We did get baseball games on PSVR1. There was like a home run derby game. There was another Japanese like a chibi style baseball game that never came to the States, and I imported, and it was so difficult to navigate the menus, but it was actually decent little fun. I think it was Konami actually. So this isn't like unheard of, but the fact is that, like, again, when Sony first party is making something that I really feel like you could easily add VR support to, why do we have to rely on Bimbusoft to make, I can guarantee you a lesser baseball game for VR fans? I think it's disappointing. And I think it's kind of sad. But, again, this is I would say this is Sony's commitment to VR, like, all over again. It just seems so natural. It seems like it would be the least amount of work they could possibly do to make a hybrid game, right? For the show, it would have been amazing. So again, this is good news, and it'll be interesting to see how this turns out, especially with Bimbusoft's history. They made a decent tennis game. This could be good. This could be good, but also I have very low expectations for it. I forget who tweeted about this, but the person who tweeted about it said it's been 6 years in development. That sounds insane to me. Kramer 3K, yeah, Hardball on the C64 for the win. Yeah, we played a lot of Hardball games. Number 3 being really, really good. Anyway, what else we got? What else we got, you guys? We got let's check in with the chat before we move on. We got Ben L, the Ghost Cat, with the level 3 membership, says, speaking of Nintendo, they are bringing back the Virtual Boy for the Switch 2. I still remember seeing the 90s commercials on a GAMESCAST. It's still crazy creepy. Yeah. We had a Virtual Boy conversation on Friday's show, I think. Very last minute, we just tossed it in there as an oddity. It wasn't a big topic of conversation. So weird. Nintendo's always kind of dabbled with this 3D stuff. Not dabbled, I guess. 3DS was a huge success. But it's cool they're doing this. I don't understand buying a $100 peripheral though. For was it 12 games? That's the only real downside here. The Virtual Boy did not get much support. It was pretty much dead on arrival, and I think it had like 12 games, and 2 of those games were bowling. Was it 2? Maybe 3? Yeah. And 14. Thank you, Scott. And even the games that people have fond memories of or discovered later. I know Jack Brothers is like this holy grail Virtual Boy game. It's okay. It's okay. It's actually a Persona game, strangely enough, if you can believe that. It's just I don't know. I didn't find it to be super fun. Oh, 2 were Tetris as well. That's great, SB. So 14 games and very, very little variety. There were a couple shoot 'em ups. One was, I think, just like a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, and then the other one, I believe, Red Alert, was the vector-based, or not actually vector. But yeah, like line. Why is my brain breaking right now? Yeah, it was like polygons that like were only the outlines of polygons. You guys, I keep thinking vector-based, but I don't think that's the right term for it. Anyway, so anyway, like I said, great to see Nintendo honoring their legacy that way. For something that was considered a massive flop back in the era. Something they just kind of, for years and years and years, just kind of wanted to brush under the rug and pretend like it never existed. It's so cool for them to be like, okay, kind of smile and being like, yeah, remember this thing? Yeah. It's a novelty for sure, but it's fun. Oh, didn't like that. Why didn't I like that? Okay. All right, Super Nintendo Chalmers with the $2 tip says, everyone pre-order Luminous Arise. Can you pre-order it now? Yeah, you can. It's kind of expensive, right? Yeah, let's take a look at it. Yeah, $40. Save 10%. So $36. Yeah. Listen, I know I'm gonna love Luminous Arise. I know it, but I was not impressed with the demo. Like, I don't know what my issue was. I think there might have been that whole issue with it's like I only really ever cared about Luminous as a handheld game, and there's something about it being on a 50-inch plasma, very old TV, but still, like I didn't play Luminous when it came to PlayStation 2, right? When it had just had a PS2 release, or the PS, I think there was one on PS3 as well. I played it on PSP, and then I played it on Vita. And it was always a handheld game to me. And so I just really, really hope that it makes the transition better for me personally when I put the headset on and it's like right there in my face. I think that'll be great. Super Nintendo Chalmers tipped again to clarify. Thank you for that. But I got it, man. I got it. I figured it out the first time. Appreciate the support, though. Ben Schroeder with the $10 says, getting back into PSVR2 trophy hunting. These GAMESCAST are great for keeping me company during the grind. Hell yeah. That's good to hear, man. I'm glad I'm not just wasting your time. All right. Let's make sure we don't skip any headlines here. This is, I'm a little bit bummed that all we have is a teaser for this. I think this is going to be great. But this is the new Walkabout course that they're teasing, and here it is, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. This is all we got. It's like a 20-second teaser, and I'm like, oh, but Let's make sure you guys can't see it. I mean, clearly, when you're advertising the Drink Me potion from, you know, the iconic Alice in Wonderland, they're obviously going to play a lot with scale, right? So I'm very curious to see how much of the game you play as Alice full size, and then at what point do you shrink down and become, you know, and have that world become giant all around you. A little bit concerning, right? A game with a low poly aesthetic like this, that I just, you know, I think when you look at Walkabout, it looks great collectively. Is this the right way to say this? When you look out at the course, everything looks great all around you because it's a low poly environment, but there's a lot going on. And I'm a little bit concerned that when you shrink down as Alice, there's just going to be not a lot going on. And so everything, this low poly environment all around you suddenly, you know, doesn't look amazing because it's just massive. That said, Meow Wolf played with scale, and Meow Wolf was just insanely beautiful, right? So they probably know what they're doing. Scott says it will be great. Every course is great. Yeah, I don't think every course is great, but I think every course is good. I think there are solid entries that just like kind of rise above the other ones, like as far as DLC goes. Yeah, I've always gone to bat for El Dorado and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Like these are just like high watermarks for me. I think they're really amazing, and some other ones, you know, are a little bit wishy-washy with me. What's up? You look like you're gonna fall off that thing. You gonna be all right? All right, she's gonna be all right. But yeah, no, Walkabout's great, and a disappointing Walkabout course is, I mean, I don't know. Have we ever had one? Anybody? Let me know in the chat if you've ever had a disappointing Walkabout course. I feel like there are ones that, you know, I played a couple times and then just never had a desire to get back to. Colin Love says maybe your ball gets bigger the closer it gets to the hole, or maybe you get smaller the closer you get to the hole. I don't know. Anyway, this is interesting. This is coming out in December, so they announced this pretty far ahead of time. Usually we get less than a month lead time on this kind of stuff, and but maybe they've just got a lot planned for it. Maybe they're, you know, giving it some extra love and attention, and then saying this is the last course of 2025. You got to wonder how long they're going to go on with this for, right? Like how long are they going to keep putting out DLC for Walkabout? Awesome Tatum says I need to get back into Walkabout. So many courses behind at this point. I'm the same way. I've still not played the Elvis course. I've still not played, what else? There was a layer one. I played Laser Layer. I played 8-bit Layer. I played Ice Layer. Wait, so which one am I missing? Whatever the newest one was. I didn't play the newest layer. Yeah. Okay. It doesn't seem like people have any like real disappointing Walkabout courses. The dinosaur one was great. Distracted. Raptor's Cliffs, right? Yeah. That was good. Crystal Layer. Yeah, I haven't played Crystal Layer. That's the one, Nick. Thank you. Yeah, the dinosaur one was great. I felt like there hadn't been any like real big standouts in a while. I think if you're a Wallace and Gromit fan, that one was obviously a really big standout. But that was good. That was nice. I'm just not a Wallace and Gromit fan. Maybe if they did a Shaun the Sheep one, I would have been a bigger fan. But Instant Bridge says, "Come on, Brian. Even I've played the Elvis course." Listen, I kind of want to get in capture footage of all of the courses and then do some kind of ranking video where we rank all the Walkabout DLC. Which one's top tier? Which ones suck? What is it? Elfheim? Alfheim's the one, right? Alfheim's one that I remember looking beautiful, but just not really loving the course design. Right? It's like you had to like use all of the hooks that were just like kind of just like part of the design in order to have your ball hook around and loop around, and I don't know what it was. That one just didn't resonate with me at all. But yeah, I'll have to get in there. I'll have to get in there and spend some serious time with Walkabout. We'll have to do that as a group. If anybody, Spooky Yuki says hi from Mars. Patch incoming tomorrow. Is that Surviving Mars? Do we have confirmation that we're getting another patch? Because I have heard. Yeah, let me look that up real quick. I have heard that people are experiencing bugs that shouldn't still be there. And that sucks. I had such a good time with Surviving Mars VR. Surviving Mars Pioneer. That it bums me out when people are like, oh, I just did this and oh, it's broken. No. I want everybody to have the same good time I had. The Game Cat Andrew Ehrenreich with the $2 tip says nothing. Thanks, bud. Appreciate the support. Distracted says, I wish they would do courses based on IRL famous ones. Are there famous mini golf courses? I didn't know that. It would be cool though. It would be cool to have like a kind of traditional mini golf course, right? Where it's because I mean the closest I can think is like the Pirates Cove one, whatever it's called. But like just have one with like you got to shoot it in the clown's mouth, and this one with like a whatever, I don't know, some more like more generic mini golf course. Because there's a bunch of tropes that like mini golf tropes that we just haven't actually seen in Walkabout. So I guess that would be pretty cool. I'm down. Emily Baxter says, what happened to Golf Plus? I don't know. What we do know about Golf Plus is the last thing they said was here. Is this something? This is something. I think it seemed like they were going through Sony certification. Was that the last we heard from them? Right. And I would love an actual golf game, man. Like, again, not something I want to do in real life, but man, it's a sport that I love playing virtually or on the flat screen. So hopefully they get their shit sorted out. This could again. So for the number of games that we know are confirmed coming this year and actually have release dates, that's already a pretty good number of games than the ones that are supposed to be coming this year, but we don't have release dates for yet. That's a really big number of games. And then there's games like Golf Plus. That like, I don't know, man. Like it could just fucking drop on the store. Like just randomly. I hope it doesn't, right? I really hope I really, really, really want to get back in the habit of reviewing more games for launch. And when something just drops on the store, that makes it really, really difficult for me to do that. So. Awesome Tatum says, legend has it that Bryan is secretly a good tennis player IRL. When I was 21 and I graduated from college, I was a drunk and lived with my parents looking for a job. I would just wake up every day and send out a few resumes and then just proceed to drink screwdrivers all day. Just be fucking drunk and lay around. It was ridiculous. My girlfriend at the time played tennis, and there was a tennis court like right by my house, and so we were there very, very frequently. Get up, have a screwdriver, go play some tennis with the girlfriend. It was a good time. I was surprised that I was decent at it, but I've never played against enough people, Tatum, to really test my skill. I might be decent, or she might have just been really, really bad at it. It's one or the other. But yeah, getting white girl wasted, screwdrivers. Yep. It took a couple more years for me to be like, to get concerned about carbs and stuff like that, and sugar content. And at that point, I just I ditched the OJ and proceeded to just drink vodka straight out of the bottle. It was ridiculous. And that's what I did for about a decade. Just straight vodka pretty much every day, all night. That's it. All right, guys. This was fun. This was fun. Hopefully we'll get back on track with GamesCast on Wednesday. Yeah, we'll get Wes on his scheduled time, and then Miles at his scheduled time, and then we'll see how it plays out though. It's gonna be a little bit crazy, even though the channel's gonna look kind of dead to you guys. For me, it's gonna be kind of crazy, right? So please keep in mind that like I am trying to get content done for October, and some of those projects are really, really big. Like I don't know if you guys remember the PSVR1 horror retrospective that I was working on last year and just never finished. It ended up being so much more work than I anticipated, and I never managed to finish. I got about 5 to 10 more hours of work to do on that video to like wrap it up and put it together. I think it's gonna be like a 90-minute video though, maybe closer to 2 hours, depending. We'll see. We'll see we'll see what that ends up being. But I really, really, really want to have that done for October at some point. But that is a minimum full day of work right there. And then again playing those FNAF games for review. And then yeah, like I said, I really want to live stream. So Techno Glitch says, were you mad drinking hardcore like that? It's just my whole life. That was my whole life. I drank excessively every single day. I blacked out every single night. I woke up and was just like, where am I? Some days I woke up in places I didn't know where I was, with people I didn't recognize. And sometimes I didn't know where my car was, which fucking real scary. Really, really glad that, and as it turns out, so very frequently I ended up being more responsible than I would have guessed. And people are like, oh, don't worry, your car is still in the parking lot at the bar or whatever. And I'm like, that's great. Who are you? Where am I? But there were certainly moments where I wasn't. And so really, really glad that, that could have gone a whole lot worse. But yeah, it was a mess. And then I had to quit. And as of August 1st, I've been, is it 12 years sober? It's crazy to lose track of how many years you've been sober, right? Crazy. It's when you first quit, it's like every day is momentous. You're like, holy shit, I haven't, it's been 3 days since I've drank. And you're like, I can't remember the last time I went 3 days without drinking. Right. And so every single day, and then the next thing you know, it's like, oh my God, it's been a year. And then 2 years and 3 years. And you're like, this is insane. And then when you lose track around where I'm at right now, 12 years, 13 years, whatever it's been, really insane. It's just not a part of my life anymore, which is interesting. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But yeah, a screwdriver, by the way, I forget who asked in the chat. It's just orange juice and vodka. That's all it was. And let me tell you, it was 75% vodka and 25% orange juice, right? So let's not waste the orange juice now. We have a task at hand. Did I ever do a Resident Evil 7 full playthrough? Only like 15 times on the channel. Super Nintendo Chalmers. Plenty of playthroughs of Resident Evil 7 on the channel, but it's been a very long time. It's been a while. So I would not be opposed to that being something I do sometime in October. But if I do a full playthrough, like in one sitting, like then that might be the only Let's Play I do that week. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not built for these long ass streams like I used to be. I'm not Wes. Who do you think I am? SB with the £5 says nothing. Come on, you didn't mean to say nothing, SB. You never say nothing. Did I miss the comment? Thanks for the support. Appreciate it. All right, cool. I'll figure it out. We'll see if I can do a Resident Evil 7 stream. That would be great. It's it's honestly about getting my mostly about getting my PS4 Pro and PSVR1 obviously set up. And people go, oh, just plug it into your PlayStation 5. It's like, yeah, but like there's games. If I'm gonna play PSVR1 games, I want my Pro just set up to do that specifically. I need it. Yeah, that's what I want it to be. Because I got to play Robinson the Journey and I got to play Rush of Blood. Maybe Robinson not for October, but Rush of Blood. So yeah, I just want to be able to turn it on and be like, okay, we're streaming from this, nice and easy. And I still have my Pro. Let's make use of it. It's crazy. The last time I did a solo stream, we didn't do 20 questions. We're going to do 20 questions. And if I remember how this works, then I pick a game and I'm playing against all of you. So let's do this. I'm going to put 4 minutes up on the clock up on the counter. I'm thinking of a PSVR1 or PSVR2 game. I'm putting this on hard mode. Because there's a lot of you. And I'm going to answer questions rapid fire. You're going to get like 100 questions in during this 4 minutes. So, but we got to also play the honor system. If anybody guesses a game, right, you can ask as many questions as you want, but if you guess a game and I say no, you're out. Okay? It's going to be the honor system because I can't keep track of fucking 200 of you. Okay? So don't guess a game unless you're sure. And if you do guess a game and I say no, then you're out. And you're not allowed to keep, you can't participate in 4-minute challenge any longer. You can't ask questions. You can't guess games. That's just how it's been. Mikey D with the $5 tip. What's up, Mikey D? Says, been away from here a while. It's been a while. Shit year. Kitty died. Oh. Then, fuck, my dad passed. Getting better and focusing again. Holy shit. I'm really, really sorry to hear that, Mikey D. That's it's interesting you started with your cat dying though. And then you went to your dad. That's horrible, man. That's horrible. We interestingly enough, we talked a lot about our parents in death on the last solo stream that I did. And we got real emotional. So sending all my love to you, Mikey D. Hopefully you're recovering. And I think when these things happen, it's okay to, let yourself feel sad and mourn the loss, but don't get trapped there. I think it's too easy to get trapped there. So hang out with us. Let us lift you up. Amazing community. Come hang out with us on Discord. Play some PSVR2 games with us. Much love, bud. Much love. All right. This is sequentially. All right. He said I listed it sequentially. He's like, I didn't like my cat more than I like my dad. God damn it, Brian. Bad shit happened to me. Why you being a dick? Sorry. I'm trying to shift the mood a little bit into a fun game of 4-minute challenge after talking about the death of somebody. We love you, Mikey. All right. Hard mode. Let's go. You guys know how this works. 4 minutes on the clock on the counter, the way that Jamie likes it. Infinite number of yes or no questions, but only 4 minutes to ask them in. So get your questions in, and then based on the responses I give, guess games. Remember, the honor system. Natty What's Up says, amen, Brian. Lost mom in 2021. The cats were supportive. Took a break and got lost in depression myself. It's hard to get out, but it will happen. Bro, again, much love to you. And if anybody understands depression, it's me. This last month, I've not been in a great place. Even regained some of the weight that I lost, which is that becomes cyclical, And you start being like, oh, you start feeling worse about yourself because of like, oh man, it's been all this time like losing all this weight and now I've gained some of it back. Oh, I feel like such a fucking loser. So like you just and then thinking those thoughts about yourself, being like, oh, it feels so hopeless and blah blah blah, and then it starts like just making you feel worse about yourself, and then depression gets worse, and you just fall down this like rabbit hole. No pun intended, Alice in Wonderland, but it's true. It's so easy, to get into these bad places, and I just want to, as I usually do, thank you guys, because it's this community that will help you out of it, or that's helped me out of it. And the number of emails and DMs and messages I've gotten over the years from people saying, that we've helped, not just me, like the community, the shows, just hanging out with people, playing games with people, that we've helped them through really hard times. It's just been so uplifting. So uplifting. Yeah, we live in some dark times. We got to focus on the positive, right? Sometimes it's hard to smile, and finding an excuse to do that every day is challenging. So let's help each other do that. This tone shift has not been successful. We're going to do it though. Here we go. We're going to do it. On your mark. Whatever. Get Des. I forgot what game it was. Go. I'm just waiting for the questions to roll in. Okay, Ace Gamer Cat. Is it PSVR 1 or PSVR 2? Okay, yes, PSVR 1, not PSVR 2. Yes, other platforms. No multiplayer. Is it playable flat? I don't believe so, Looper. It's not a hybrid. Is it creepy? No. Well, I mean, no. No. Let's not get in that trap. Tatum, it's not creepy. Sex bots, yes. Aim controller, no, Markio. PSVR 1, yes, Rody. Is it Starship Disco? Kramer, you're out. It's not Starship Disco. Chaos, is it horror? Oh my god, I can't keep up. It's not horror. Spooky Yuki, yes, it is a solo game. It is on PSVR 1, Truth Hurts. Is it only on PSVR 1? No, it's on other platforms, but it's not on PSVR 2. Is it a launch game? No. Is it multiplayer? No. Single player? Yes. Man, you guys got to read other people's questions. Does it have zombies? No. It does have enemies, but they're not zombies. Oh, crap. Hold on. I just lost it. Is it open world? No. Is it loading human? No, you're out, Fifth. Is it Mervils? No, you're out, Nihilist Ryan. Is it Squishies? No, you're out, Emily Baxter. Is it horror? No, Rody. Is it a collection of games? No. Is it Everybody's Golf? No, Gen Z, you're out. Horror? No, Crumb Colossus. Is it? Oh my god, I keep losing track of the chat. Can you use the moves? Tatum, yes, you can. Finally, a yes. Yes, moves. Is it co-op? No multiplayer. Melee combat, yes, Markio, there's melee combat, lots of melee combat. Do you control vehicles in it, says Ian. No vehicles. Use the 3D rudder, says Prozac. I don't think so. I don't think that's a thing. Is it sci-fi? In the most roundabout way, yeah, it has sci-fi elements for sure, but I don't think you'd think of it as a sci-fi game. Okay, Looper says, did it launch in the first 3 years? Let me take a look at... where's the... Yes, it did launch in the first 3 years. Holy crap, this is not going well. Is it fantasy? No. Sports, says Markio. No, not really. Puzzles, says Looper. No, it's not puzzles. Okay, not developed by Vitruvius. I'm trying to scroll up and make sure I didn't miss anything. Are there dinosaurs? There's no dinosaurs. There's no DualShock support, Shapeshifter. It's not fantasy. There's no third-person elements, Looper. Can you cast magic? Not to my knowledge, no. Gorn asks Chaos. No, you're out. It's not Gorn. Remember, Gorn was on PSVR too. Neon Pizza says Vacation Simulator. Nope, you're out. Can you use the DualShock? No, Ben, you cannot. Is it grid-based? No. Is it a known IP? Says Chrome Colossus. This is hard, because no. We're just going to go with no. Oh, man. You know what? I hate to do this, but I'll give you guys some extra time. I just want to look something up real quick. Just make sure I'm not screwing this up. I don't want to AJ this. All right. To my knowledge, not on the flat screen. This is something I just couldn't stop thinking. Huge golems. No. No, it's not Spooky Yuki. It's not Skyrim, Omen Boy. Drunken Bar Fight. No, but you're getting really close. Is there full locomotion? Yes, Looper, there's full locomotion. Does the game have swords and man in the title? No, Ian Sandbridge, but you're getting closer. Swords as Photonutter. Yes. Is Neon in the title? No. Is it an arena fighter? Yeah, kind of. Mostly black and white, says Mikey D. No. It is colorful. Can you feed a horse? No. Is it strategy? No. Robot TV helpers. I don't know what that means. But I think robots. Let's go with yes. Is an arcade game? It's arcadey. Distracted. I'm going to answer 5 more questions sequentially, and then we're going to take a guess or two. Markio says, is it an experience? No. I would say it's more of a game. He also asked if it's a bad game, and I think the answer to that's yes. Is there lots of blood? No. No, so it's not gory. Cross-platform. Yeah, it came out on other platforms. Is it based on some Asian IP? No. Are there hot Japanese girls? No. I'm not AJing it. I'm making good. I'm making good. Are you on a rail? No. Super Nintendo Chalmers said Swordsman VR with a $2 tip. No, you're out. Says I didn't mean Gorn, I meant Golem. You're still out. It's not Golem. Do you pilot a vehicle? I'm just taking lots of questions. No vehicles, I don't believe. Swords of Gargantua. Nope. Sorry, Rhodey, you're out. Okay, Looper says Sirento. Nope. You're out. I'll take guesses for the next 20 seconds. And then just because this is such an impossible format to play this game in. But it is fun, though. It is fun. No one's really guessing. No one's really guessing. It's not a good game, Truth Hurts. Yeah, it's actually pretty fucking bad. In fact, it is just an absolute terrible version of this game, I think. It may suck on other platforms too, but I've only played the PSVR version. And I will tell you what it is right now. Thank you, everybody, for playing. No, not the invisible hours. You're already out, Chaos. Stop that. We're on the honor system. You have no honor. Where is... shit. Hold on a second. I got this. All right, coming out February 3rd, 2019 from Lockham Reality. It's Rage Room. It's Rage Room. This game sucked. This game sucked. It should have been so much fun. Looper, don't worry about counting how many questions we answered. This game looked terrible in the headset. All the robots moved like really poorly. None of the collision detection felt very good. This was just an absolutely terrible game. We were strangely looking forward to it because it was just creative combat and it was supposed to be fun. Man, it just turned out to be an absolute fucking mess. I have a review. Actually, the funny thing is I checked out the review right before starting GamesCast, just to see if there was any things I was missing. Like, oh, if it does it support full locomotion? I was 99% sure it did, but I was like, maybe if I watch the review, it'll trigger some memories. It's a Des review. There are so few Des reviews on the channel. He did like 4 or 5 or something back in the day, which was always such a bad idea because I still had to capture the footage, so I had to play most of the game anyway, and I edited all of his voiceovers in the video and all of that, so it was like... so I still had to put in almost the same amount of work just so that Des could get credit for doing a review. Those were the days. Those were the days. Is there even a game loop for this? Yeah, I think so, right? I think you get money, I think, for completing different rage rooms, different challenges, and then that allows you to buy more and more types of weapons and then advance to further levels to take down the enemies with. I mean, it was like, it's about as basic as arena fighters get, but the fact that they just didn't even nail the combat, which is the only thing this game really had going for it, it's really, really sad. Omen Boy says, I always forget about Dez and the other dude from back then. He's like, you're still forgetting about the other dude from back then. Yeah, Jeremy, it was Dez, it was Jeremy, and it was Michelle. And before that, I mean, we had Mike and Brett. And we had just so many, dude, it's been a long time, right? 10 years is a long time to be doing this. And so looking back and just, you know, flipping through some shows, especially the ones that, like, you know, when you know, some people like, Andrew Ehrenreich and Samson, they're going back and watch, they went back and watched like all of these old videos and they're commenting on them. So the comments are showing, like, because they're new comments and they're saying, you know, they're time stamping different parts of the episodes. And I'm watching myself from 10 years ago, just not even really remembering shit that I did 10 years ago, like in guest hosts and co-hosts that, like, I just, you know, kind of completely forgot about because they showed up for like a day or two and, you know, and it was fun, but, you know, this has been such a fun ride. Like, it really has been, to do this for 10 years and, you know, to look back and just see like this wealth of content, thousands of videos, literally. It's so interesting to see a channel pop up and then get what am I trying to say here, like, to get like you know, they put out like 20 videos and they have 1 million subscribers, right? That's the crazy part, right? It's like, man, am I bashing my head against the wall for 10 years to get 100 and I think we just hit 111,000 today, which is great. I'm super proud of like us in this community and how we all band together and we've got a common goal in mind. I think it's all great. But man, like, if anybody ever claims that like I sold out or that you know, let me just tell you that there are a million better ways to be successful on YouTube, right? I could have been streaming Fortnite this whole time or Minecraft this whole time and not to be doing VR. Like, if I really, really cared about, if that's all I cared about was like, you know, like fame or money or whatever, then this would not be what I was doing on YouTube, right? This has been the slowest growth any channel has ever had. It's just so funny to watch all these like social commentary people, you know, who are great at what they do. Don't get me wrong. I think they've got awesome personalities and a lot of them are really, really funny and I enjoy what they do. But to see that they only have 20 videos and they've got just millions of subscribers, I'm like, boy, have I taken the tough road. But I love what I do. And I love that, you know, you guys being here, right? And the impact that we're making on this little corner of the industry together. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. I'd much rather be doing this. I'll tell you that. I think that's it. Let me just make sure. Thank you again, everybody who supports the channel. Whether you tip during the show, it's a lot of fun. Or you support me on patreon.com/withoutparolegames, or you're a member over here, or you're buying gift memberships for people. Thank you very much. It means a lot. But we're just happy that you're here. This community is awesome, so make sure you click the link in the description. Come join us over on Discord. That's where we hang out 24/7. That's where we do Sunday multiplayers. That's where we do everything. I basically live on Discord, which is probably not healthy, but so be it. We're just happy that you guys are here, part of the community. That's what matters most. And we're good people, man. You guys are great people, and I've seen you really come out and support the people that need them when they need help the most. So thank you for all that, and keep it up. All right. There's got to be some people out there that are sitting back watching the show and not saying a goddamn word, right? Right? Don't worry, we love you just as much. Happy Monday, everybody. Let's go. Niles Ryan says, the poverty makes you trustworthy, Brian. What if one of these days I turn the camera around and it's like I've just recreated my tiny little ghetto apartment in the corner of like this fucking mansion, and you're like, how long have you been lying to us? The city backdrop is just like a fucking animation. Oh, that would be so great. So great. All right, I'm out. Love you guys.